Oh no, this is a bad idea. Oh god. We're coming back to Sonic the Hedgehog Mother Ducking Omochao Edition. I don't want to play this game. But fortunately for me, I have better experience with this title now, knowing how to avoid collecting stuff. But you're gonna find out that I'm actually doing Lewis's job in this game. Yes, I'm doing something unlike what I would normally do. So, I'm not, like, for the normal stages, I'm not gonna touch anything, well, unless it's required. I only touch what's required, that's when I get the 1-up jingle. But aside from that, I'm pretty much gonna be doing, Lewis's stuff for other particular stages. Yep. So, what is there to say about Sonic the Hedgehog Omochao Edition that I haven't already said in my November 13 of 2011 review? Well, let's see. The game is still hard as duck. Omochao follows you wherever you go. But one thing I have learned from playing this game is that Omochao will not, and I stress, he will not react to you touching certain things when he doesn't see you. Yeah, if you have Omochao off screen or very far away from you, if he's not next to you like how he is right now with Sonic, he actually will not say that you got blank. And you know what? That can really help out speedrunners out there. If you're going way too fast for Omochao to keep up with you, which, trust me, does happen at times. Like, right here, actually. It's scenarios like that which can help you get a ring or accidentally get a ring or destroy an enemy, which might come in handy for the bosses and whatnot, but, you know, it also helps you out with your score, too. Because this game, it detects your entire score and your entire amount of rings. It's sort of like how Super Mario Bros. 2... No, wait, no, not Super Mario Bros. 2. New Super Mario Bros. 2. I forgot that's what I was referring to. Yeah, New Super Mario Bros. 2 detects how many coins you have collected throughout the game. They give you a 1 million coins challenge. In this, game, Happensan? Sorry. Happensan, aka Sinnoh, detects your ring count. I don't know why he would want to detect your ring count, but I bet he has his reasons. And I'm going to be doing this for Special Stage 1 and Special Stage 6. If you're noticing what I'm doing here, I'm trying to pull off Lewis's mission. So, what I'm doing is being a klepto and collecting every single ring before I actually get the Chaos Emerald. Now, the reason why I'm not doing this for Special Stages 2, 3, 4, and 5, or I could really just say 2 through 5, is that if I did these from 2 through 5, I'd have to avoid much more goal blocks. The only reason why I'm doing it in 1 and 6 are because the layouts are actually fairly easy to get rings. There are exactly 108 rings in Special Stage 6, and because they're all in groups of 6, well, there you go, it's pretty easy in that part. Also, there really isn't anything I haven't already mentioned about the special stages. I mean, you've got your spinning pinwheels that really are able to help you out when you need to, like, it'll help you jump to places that you couldn't. You have the R block, which switches the rotator. The up and down switches will either speed up or slow down the wheel. And apparently there are 4 speed levels in terms of if you press up 3 times. I tested it out in a few test runs of other Sonic the Hedgehog 1 packs that I've played, and they seem to work that way. I don't know how Happensan is going to do it for, what is it, Extended Edition? But then again, Extended Edition will be coming out for a long time. Very, very long time. I don't know how long, I mean, the game's been in development since 2006. You would think it would be out by now, but because he's now a Sonic Retro Administrator, I'm sure that he's also doing other things in between, as well as maintaining the site, so I can understand as to why he would have to have that on hiatus. So yeah, I'm not complaining. I'm happy for the guy. Come on, Sonic, you have 9 more rings. You have 9 more, alright, 8 more rings. Get those rings for me, Sonic, I need them. I need all the score I can get. Oh boy, I really do sound like a ring klepto, do I? But don't worry, in real life I'm not really a klepto. I just did this for the sake of the long play. Yeah, this is a long play. I'm not gonna be doing this just bare bones in 10-minute, 15-minute segments. I'm doing this in the hour and 20 minutes and 40 seconds that this game gives me. Oh yeah, and continues are worthless. You don't need continues ever in this game. No, literally, you never need continues in this game. I don't know why you don't need continues, but if you don't need continues, you don't need continues. Well, that makes sense, because there's a level select. You can just go to the level select whenever you want. However, your lives counter does remain the same no matter what level you go to, so keep that in mind. Now, as I have mentioned in the original, what was it, Sonic the Hedgehog Sage 2010, which I also call Sonic the Hedgehog, you don't have a lives counter in that game. You only have one chance to complete every stage, and because there's a leaderboard system in the original version of that, I'd figure that's the reason why you would require to have no lives. Because it's basically time attack / score attack / item / enemy / whatever else attack. You're basically trying to see who can get through the fastest and get the most things. You know, I actually do find that to be an interesting concept. Appasan, if you're watching this video at any time in your life, do you think you could also do the same for Sonic the Hedgehog 2, 3, SNK, and 3D Blast if possible? Do you think you could do that? I mean, if we were able to get online multiplayer for Sonic 2, which sadly is only available via either the emulator's netplay mode or using the classic Backbone Entertainment crap that we got. Backbone Entertainment really needs to go. Their emulation's horrible. Then please, by all means, find some way to emulate this kind of Sagehog-like stuff in a 2, 3, SNK, 3, S3NK, Blue Sphere Plus, Sonic 3D Blast, and pretty much any other game that was made for the Genesis that is a Sonic title. But not Sonic Eraser. I don't want to have Sonic Eraser in Sagehog form. Oh boy. In fact, what was the real, I mean, I've already done a playthrough of Sonic Eraser for the folks here on the channel, but I have to ask, what was the concept of that game? What was the concept for Sonic the Hedgehog Eraser? Was it just some kind of a puzzle simulator to test out something that they were going to make for Columns 3? Was it made for the fact that they made Tetris on the Genesis as well? I don't know any console that doesn't have Tetris. I mean, even the TI-80 series and TI-92 have Tetris. And fireworks going off in my city, but I digress. Yeah, so, like, what was the concept of the Sonic Eraser? Was it supposed to be, like, this special puzzle simulator for other games? I don't know, because, I mean, Tetris, I think, did come out after Sonic Eraser, if I'm not mistaken. Columns came out before Sonic Eraser. So what happened? Also, I figured the reason why Sonic Eraser was made in the first place was because it was trying to be more... Like when you play Columns, it goes down one block at a time. In Sonic Eraser, it moves down at a sliding 60 frames a second pace. Does it mean that version of the game was supposed to be an enhancement of Columns, or what? And the differences between that game is, like, instead of 6 columns of blocks, you can go up to 7, and a few other things in between. Again, very questionable. I don't know how it worked. But, you know. It was a horrible excuse for a puzzle game, though. The puzzle game was good, I just hated the music. That's what killed it for me. By the way, these corkscrew trails of rings that you see, precision jumping is the name of the game. You try doing this on a Genesis, you swear you hit the button, but you just missed it by a millisecond. And trust me, that has happened to me a whole bunch of times in the past. I don't know why it happens, but it happens at times, and I don't like that about precision platforming. I don't want to have precision platforming in my Sonic game. Oh yeah, by the way, if you took the lower path, this is the only spring you have to hit. You can go through the stage without touching a thing, but because I decided to take the lower path just for safety precautions, I decided to give up one of my chances. And by the way, I tried to see if I could go through all the stages with a perfect rank, however, it just did not happen. There was literally no way I could do this perfect ranking. If I was lucky enough, I could have at least gotten, a perfect rank with everything that I did front to back, but no, it didn't work. It did not work the way I thought it would. Ended up getting 2 gold ranks. One in Labyrinth Act 2 and the other in Starlight Act 2. I don't know what's required in order to get the perfect rank. I know you at least need a certain number. You need to have at least, less than 3, I figure. However, the ranking system is different for every stage, so it's a bit variable as to how it works. In Act 3, they have these posts which will give you shields and barriers. And you might question why it's the Sonic 2 barrier. Probably because it's easy to port the Sonic 2 barrier design and not to get it confused with the regular Sonic 1 barrier. But this actually helps you not get any notifications from Omochao when you get a ring or touch a lamppost, get the monitors, or anything. However, I do have one major recommendation. Do not get the invincibility monitor and defeat Dr. Robotnik. I'll show you why when we get to Spring Yard Zone. Oh, Spring Yard Zone. Highly despise it. That took me nearly 10 minutes to do, really? So you mean to tell me it took me nearly 10 minutes just to get through all of Green Hill Zone? Not cool. I normally get through, whenever I do a normal run of Green Hill Zone, and I mean regular Sonic the Hedgehog, not, without the spin dash, without the homing attack. Oh god, I mentioned the homing attack. Screwed up there. Yeah, whenever I do a normal run of Sonic the Hedgehog without any of the special abilities, I usually can get it done in less than 3 minutes. But with this, I actually have to take my time. And if you want to restart the stage, simply press the start button and then press A. Simple enough, isn't it? Nevertheless, I might as well talk about which Sonic games I'm going to be doing later on, seeing that I don't know how this is going to work in terms of the schedule that I have set, because I'm doing a month of Nintendo, which I'll be mentioning on June 30. So, the Master System titles. I already said that Sonic the Hedgehog and Sonic the Hedgehog 2 on Master System were prequels to Sonic the Hedgehog 2 on the Genesis. I promised I would play those games before playing Sonic the Hedgehog 2 on the Genesis, but because of recording complications or because of a Game Gear / Master System emulator problem, I could not do that. When I was originally doing this stuff, I used to use Dega, and Dega is this special emulator that allows you to play both Game Gear and Master System titles, as well as record movies. Now, there's a special AVI recording unit in Dega. Well, it's more like an AVI, scripting kind of a thing. I don't know how it works. The same kind of thing was used in Virtua NES, and it was horrible. But when I was testing it out, I had noticed that it would not work on Windows 7. Yeah, Dega was made more for Windows 2000 and Windows XP. Vista and 7 don't use it at all. If you try making an AVI recording out of it, it just won't work. It used to work for Virtua NES, but because I've been enhancing my computer so much, and now because I'm using DirectX 10, the Windows 8 developer preview, not the consumer preview, don't get it confused, I just cannot use it. So I've had to resort to using a new emulator that's been made. Oh yeah, there's the little glitch there where Omochao does not recognize I collected the ring. The emulator that I'm using now is BizHawk. You might wonder, what is BizHawk? BizHawk is a universal, yes, universal emulator, which allows you to not just play Game Gear and Master System titles, but games on the NES, the Game Boy, if I'm not mistaken, Sega Genesis, Sega Master System, Sega Game Gear. Oh wait, I already included those. And to my surprise, the TI-83. Yes, TI-83 applications on BizHawk. So, at the point of this recording, I already do have the, RAWs for Sonic Master System already recorded. Sonic 2 Master System I haven't done yet. But, if you want to know, like, how I'm gonna be doing this, I'm gonna be doing that with one of my with one or more of my co-commentators, so we'll be doing that whenever we get the chance. And, wow, I just went through a streak of rings. Huzzah, Gabor! But I digress. So, you might question, how will I be, like, when will those videos be coming up? I don't know. I honestly don't know. Like, I still have, like, one more year of high school left, so I definitely will be, like, busy. I don't know if I will be able to get Master System up during some time in the school year. I highly doubt that, even though it's going to be, like, it's going to be, like, 4 to 5 parts long, depending on how many zones I decide to do per stage. Right now I'm thinking of doing just 2 zones per stage. It might end up just becoming 3 parts. But then Sonic the Hedgehog 2 comes in, and that's going to be like 4 parts because of Crystal Egg Zone. But I highly doubt that it's going to be... like a major hassle. Let's put it at that. So, the next 2 Sonic titles that you'll be seeing me play will definitely be the first 2 Game Gear titles, because I wanted to deal with those prequels before I had dealt with any other title, and I do apologize for not playing the Master System titles before going through anything else. And again, I have to mention, I'm not playing either the Game Gear versions of any Sonic title, well, except for Tails Adventure, because Tails Adventure was only made for the Game Gear. But the reason why I'm not playing any Game Gear titles is because of the screen resolution. It's just so small. Oh, I do not like it any bit. I don't like small screen resolution, and in fact, that's actually another reason why I decided to play the Master System version of Sonic the Hedgehog 1. Because not only can you see it in HD, you can also see it with a special, like, there are differences between the 2 versions, which I will mention. And, yeah. You know, I'm kinda liking how this is not a Sega CD title where you have to wait for loading times. Oh boy. You know, I bet there's gonna be a Sega CD port of this game soon. And if it ends up selling, I highly doubt that anybody would want to sell this game in particular. But I highly think that if anybody bothers to sell this game, even though I know it would be piracy, I would not buy it. Literally, I would not buy a hack of Sonic the Hedgehog on the Sega CD if it's Omochao edition. I don't know, it's just in my mentality not to do that. I just don't want to play a Sonic game, a Sonic hack, mind you, on a normal console. It's like, ever since I started using the keyboard, I feel safer to play games on the keyboard. I don't prefer playing games on the consoles that they were made for. I don't know, it's just something that just didn't really apply to me. Like, whenever I play a Genesis game now, I just feel like playing it more on the original emulators that were made for it, not the original consoles. The exception to that would be games like Miss Pac-Man and Pac-Man 2 only because the keyboards for some reason just don't work. One recommendation though, if you're going to be bothering to play Miss Pac-Man on a game system like the Genesis or the emulator version, do not have the 6-button control. Actually, no. Let me actually rephrase that. If you're going to play Miss Pac-Man on the emulator, it's okay to have 6-button, because it doesn't recognize the X, Y, and Z buttons. But if you're gonna play on the actual Genesis, X is up and Z is down. That was a stupid concept, and holy crap, Sonic, you're doing it wrong again! I did not see that coming. So Sonic can stand in lava. He's been lying to us all along. So this is the game where he learned the ability to be able to walk on fire in Sonic the Hedgehog 2 Nick Arcade demo. Bravo! No, really, I did not know that until now. Say, does anybody remember the old UFO design that was supposed to be made for Marble Zone? I'm actually surprised I didn't bother doing that when I promised I would play the beta stages during my Hedgehog playthrough, and I never bothered doing that. Oh my god. Yeah, I'm gonna get to that soon enough, but I don't have, like, a legitimate original beta of Sonic the Hedgehog. Where is that? I know, like, we have Sonic the Hedgehog. No, this is not supposed to be a Panda Hedgehog reference. Yeah, I noticed Sonic the Hedgehog beta remake, but Sonic the Hedgehog beta remake is just, ugh. Like, they got the audio right, track for track, and another instance where Omochao is not known as a kill, the Caterkiller. I just don't understand, like, why do we not have an original cartridge, or an original, classic beta ROM? I know somebody made an original beta ROM that was released in 1999 and then re-released in 2003 when Sonic Retro came to mind, but even then you could only play like Green Hill Zone Act 1, or, yeah, you can only play like Green Hill Zone Act 1. Even if you go through the level select, no other stage will load up. It's because of some illegal instruction, quote-unquote, error. I don't know, like, what is up with that? What is up with illegal instruction? You only see illegal instruction in Sonic titles. I've never seen illegal instruction in anything else. Like, whenever I play Golden Axe or Streets of Rage or Columns, sometimes I like to mess around with the cartridge and see if I can, like, get some kind of an error screen. Sadly, though, I don't get illegal instruction or anything. My most memorable glitch, however, oh, I hated the code glitch gremlin for this. Really hated the code glitch gremlin for this. Why was that a tongue twister? Code glitch? The code glitch gremlin. Oh, right. Yeah, the reason why I hate the code glitch gremlin for one rare instance was because of this one time when I was playing Sonic 3 and Knuckles. I don't know if I've already mentioned the story before, but I was playing as Knuckles, and what happened was I completed Launch Base Zone Act 1. I had a hard time fighting the two Wrecking Ball enemies, especially with 6 rings, and I didn't know the pattern. I have the pattern down now, so it's easy for me. But I just could not for the life of me figure out what happened next. Like, right after the Knuckles got through Act 1 screen, you know what happened? Right when that sound effect had happened? Black screen of death. Yeah, that's right. The screen turned black. Oh god. I had to redo Launch Base Zone all over again. I screamed in so much anger that day. That was crazy stuff. That was crazy stuff. I had to redo Launch Base Act 1 all over again. And to make it worse, it was as Knuckles. If this was as Sonic, it would be excusable since Sonic's version of the stage is actually much easier than Knuckles. But no. That was torture for me when I was young. I was like 8 one night when I did that. I was like 8 or 7. Wait a minute, wait. Let me see if I can remember the year. Yeah, it was 2003. That happened in 2003. I think it was July of 2003, actually. I cannot remember for the life of me. But it was sometime around July of 2003. Christ. I cannot believe that happened. But hey, fun times those were. Fun times. Taught me a few things about code glitches, you know? And, you know, I just noticed how close I have the microphone to myself. I notice, like, when I'm talking through the microphone, I know it's, like, super loud when I'm speaking. So I have to be sure that I have it at least, like, I'd say it's, like, at least at 8 to 10 inches right now from my mouth, so at least it's easier to hear me. At least it's not all, like, scratchy and muffled, or loud and scratchy. Nobody likes a loud and scratchy commentator. And because I got the barrier, I decided to go back to get my rings. No, I'm not trying to be a Raven Klepto. I just don't want to go into this boss without getting hit. Regardless, though, if you do in fact get hit, not only do you lose your barrier, but Omochao will say you got hit. And every time you hit Robotnik after that, it will say you hit the boss. There's also a notification that he will give you that says you beat the boss. And again, that does harm your ranking and score very much. In order to get the gold ranking, you need 3, which, thank God I got 0 notifications from Omochao. I'm a very experienced player at this game, you can tell. And I like that in my game. Why was I trying to go in Act 3? I don't know why. Finally, Spring Yard Zone. The game states that it's actually very simple. I don't know why it's very simple, but hey, it's simple. Neon flashing lights that can't give you seizures, springs that are very unavoidable and you have to hit. The least amount of notifications that you could possibly get is 7. I've tried everything, but yeah, the least number of notifications you can possibly get in the stage is 7. And if anybody's gotten at least 6, then bravo to you, because I have not been able to do 6 yet. But yeah, these first 3 springs are pretty much unavoidable. Now what you want to do here is you want to actually hit the bobbins. Yes, that's literally what they're called. Precision platforming. This, do you know how many re-records this took for me to do? Like, while I was trying to record Spring Yard, that took me nearly about 400 re-records just to do. Literally. I did not like having to do that one bit. Also, these Sonic-esque rollers, the chickens. Yeah, that's the strategy as to how to avoid them. I remember in the original Sonic the Hedgehog, off there's no way. No, I don't want to go up. There's rings there. I'm not trying to be a klepto right now. I'm trying to avoid all the rings. I swear to God, Lewis would have the hardest time with this game. You know, I actually have to pose the question. If Lewis actually played this game and attempted to avoid every single ring, monitor, lamppost, and enemy, and switch, I wonder how he would do. Literally, I wonder how he would do at this game. I mean, if he can do almost as good as I can, then I could see that. I could see that coming. Ugh. What did I have today? Alright, let me try to rehash to see what I had today. I had mozzarella sticks. Yes, mozzarella. Based off of my 10th grade English teacher's last name, I don't like calling them mozzarellas anymore. I like calling them mozzarellas. Oh god. What else did I have? After that, I had some marinara sauce to go with the mozzarella sticks. After that, I had a steak and cheese set. No. Before that, I had... Oh, it's the ginger ale that's making me do that. But, hey, it's funny. And then after that, I had some strawberry and blueberry Pop-Tarts, in that order. Did you know it was fun? It was funny, Liz. I love Pop-Tarts. But I despise having a pot belly. Good God. You know, I still wonder, why is this a yard in the spring? This is not what a yard in the spring is supposed to look like. A yard in the spring is supposed to be, it's supposed to have a blue sky with lots of grass and hills and lakes. That's what the real spring yard is. Like, as I said in my original Sonic the Hedgehog playthrough, I'm trying to not say hedgehog. When I played the original Sonic the Hedgehog commentary back, I remember mentioning, like, this zone reminds me of, like, Chicago or New York. But more like New York, because that makes sense. But again, I have to pose the question. Why didn't Springyard look more like that? Were they trying to insist on putting springs in? Was that the reason why they called it Springyard? Was that the reason why we got all these bobbins going around? Yelling Pingus every time we bump on them? Yes, I know about the Pingus meme. In fact, I actually used to use the Pingus meme a lot, especially on my Facebook profile. And, I got some odd reception from that, because apparently some people thought that Pingus was Pingus, meaning that, they thought that Pinga was a noun. Yeah. Many people in my high school did not get the joke. That's only because they're not used to that. The school that I used to go to is a Republican school. I can't say it was, it still is. And, people in Republican schools don't usually get to have all the, knowledge that people from Democratic schools get to know. Like, I've only been to 2, Republican schools in my life. Edward Brook Charter School and Lynn English Senior High. Keep this in mind. The students in both schools, they don't know as much as I do. To my surprise, they don't know as much as I do. My grades don't show it, but my personality and mind show it well. Pretty dang well. And in terms of grades, I actually do get A's and B's when I'm at my best. When I'm suffering from, like, emotional problems, I don't like to talk about it, but I usually get C's. I usually get C's in those kinds of conditions. But no, I'm normally an honor roll student. But I digress from my point. like, democratic schools that I've been to, and these are all of them in the exact order: Mattapan EEC, Pauline Agassiz Shaw Elementary School. That school actually got taken down because of budget cuts. This was before the recession, keep in mind, so that's excusable. There was also Woodrow Wilson Junior High and Thurgood Marshall Junior High. All of those schools that I've gone to were all Democratic, and people pretty much knew all the humor that I knew because we actually are more down to earth than most of the people that are in Republican schools. You see, here's the one thing that I have to say about Republicans. Republicans like to close their minds off from everybody. They just like to torture us with things. And I don't mean the liberal Republicans, I mean the conservative ones. We also have conservative Democrats, which I despise, actually. I don't like any of the conservative party. I try to be neutral as much as I can, but there are just some times where I have to side with the liberals just because of situations such as what we can get in at times. And, yeah. But as Democrats, we don't close our minds off that much. We like to learn about humor. We like to gain information. And that's a good thing, you know? There's nothing wrong with knowing something. I'm just a guy that pays attention. Don't get me wrong. I try to pay attention to everything. And because of that has made me the smart person that I am today. And honestly, if I did not learn all these awesome things, then I probably would be as dumb as certain conservative party people. That's all I'm saying on that. End of discussion. Back to the game. So you've been noticing in Spring Yard Zone that I've actually had to take damage quite a bit. Yeah, in order to pass those small tunnels with the, circular moving spikes alongside with the rings above, if you don't want to touch those rings, you have to get hit. Also, you have to time your movement right after you get hit so you don't collect any more rings to get more one-up jingles. And that actually can be a bit, tedious at times. Well, not tedious, aggravating. I have to get my words right. It can get a bit aggravating because you have to know exactly what time to press the forward button. Like right here, I'm just trying to do precision platforming. All that you have to time in your mind. It's math. It's all math. In fact, if you think of it, Sonic the Hedgehog is a math lesson within itself. You have to time how many seconds that platform is going to move. You have to time how many seconds you're going to avoid waiting for that, crawler. And some of you might have been seeing that there are a lot of Omochao symbols. That's what gives me the barrier as well. I know for a fact that if you input a Game Genie code, you can actually enable the fact that the I don't know why Game Genie codes work with this game, because it's a Sonic hack. But apparently when you type in the master code or the unlimited rings cheat, you can actually get nearly unlimited notifications of you got a ring. You can also actually prevent that. You can actually prevent the shield from going away. Like right when you get that shield, even when you pass through the part where it doesn't allow you to have the shield, apparently it grants you the ability to go through the entire stage with the shield equipped. Then again, if you get into areas where you have to get hit, like right here, then that gets pretty useless very quickly. Very, very quickly. So trust me, it is a bit of a pain. Very much. And more unavoidable springs. What the duck? Well, that I could understand why Happasam decided to give us 15 for the bronze rank because of this. But as you'll see, I will end up getting the perfect rank regardless. But like, see here, even if I got 7, I'd still get the perfect rank. It's at the point that I get 8 that I end up getting the gold rank. but I don't get 8, so thank God. Oh yeah, even if you have the Sonic 2 shield equipped, yes, still gonna be a klepto. You can actually use the invincibility monitor, and Omochao will not say a thing. Even when you destroy Robotnik's mech, which is basically the Spike boss, which I mentioned in Sonic the Hedgehog is so much harder. Yeah, still pretty pathetic. Pretty dang pathetic. And here's why I told you, don't, actually no, this is because I have 7 chances, not because I use the invincibility. This is, you're not supposed to complete the stage with 7 chances because you get this. Illegal instruction, $, or, yeah, $000267889. What? Okay, so what you're really supposed to do here is you're supposed to die. Yes, of all things sacred, you're supposed to die. How is anybody supposed to know that? Oh yeah, by the way, when you die, you actually reset your ranking. So you can now complete this stage with a perfect rank. Interesting, right? I honestly would have never thought of that. But hey, it's a classic gimmick. And in fact, that can actually help out with getting the perfect rank in stages such as I think Labyrinth Zone Act 2 requires that you do that. I know for a fact that Starlight Act 2 requires that you do that as well. Because there was no way that I was going to complete those stages with a gold rank without having to... Actually, no, there was no way I was going to do the perfect rank in those without having to do that, which, trust me, being the person that I am, be it not so knowing of this glitch that I did not bother doing it. No, literally, I didn't bother doing it. And oh hi, Grounder. No, his name's really the Burrow Bot, but I like to call him Grounder because he looks like Grounder. At least Sonic 2 Grounder, not the green Grounder that we all love and know. In fact, for some reason he sounds more like modern day Barney. Not the purple dinosaur Barney, I mean like the Barney from the Flintstone era. That's the kind of Barney I grew up with. Do you think I grew up with Barney the purple dinosaur? Well, in fact I did. Of all things sacred, I grew up with the character that Sonic the Hedgehog hates the most thanks to Moogle Cavern's videos. I mean, photo gifs. Barney the purple dinosaur. It wasn't until later on that I found out that Barney and Friends was more of like a cult thing, and the song I Love You actually had some very horrible subliminal messages that had to do with leading kids to homosexuality and leading kids to like in Satan. I don't know what that was about, but trust me, that scared the crap out of me when I found out. That's why I don't really watch the show anymore. Like, whenever I see it on WGBX44, I just decide to change the channel immediately. That's how I feel. That's how I feel towards it now. I don't like it anymore. Yeah, one funny thing about Labyrinth Zone, remember how I said, like the drowning music, I think is gonna, yep, drowning music happened. In the original, Let's View of Sonic the Omochao Hater, as I call it, when I originally did that video, I said, if there's gonna be a message of, you're about to drown, I said I didn't want to see that. Luckily, I didn't see that. The you drowned notification is there though, which ticked me off, to be honest. But aside from that, everything else was still the same, like, you fell into the water was not a notification. You're about to drown did not appear. Only you drowned appeared, and that was tolerable. So, thank you, Hapasan, for not having us have to deal with that. Also, Hapasan, thank you for not bothering to put in you ate a bubble. That would have ticked me off the worst. If you ever decide to make a version 2 of this game, don't put it in. Because, I'm figuring the ranking system for this only goes up to 99. Because you're gonna be needing because I know that I'll be needing a lot of bubbles in this game, so please, if you ever decide to make a version 2, don't put that in. Please don't. That would scare me. It really would. Nevertheless, Special Stage 6, final special stage of the game, and sadly, sadly, because this is Sonic the Hedgehog 1, we cannot get Super Sonic, we cannot go to Hidden Palace, we can't pass go, we can't collect $200. Oh wait, that's Monopoly. But yeah, I'm gonna be a klepto again and get the rings. Lewis, you can thank me later for doing your job. This is something I've been wanting to do for a long time, and I'm glad that I finally got this out of the way. Literally, I like doing... Sometimes I like to collect rings like this. Because, I personally am a collector as well. I collect stuff. Like, everything in this entire, bedroom that I have, it was I either inherited it, I collected it, or, it was given to me as a gift. Like, I have, 2 Sonic the Hedgehog action figures. One of my friend Gabriel, who is going to be a co-commentator for the channel, he had gotten me the Sonic Adventure 2 version, well, not Sonic Adventure 2, but Sonic Adventure 2-esque, because of the year. But it was more like the Sonic Adventure Director's Cut version of the Sonic action figure. And my friend Jasmine, who I haven't seen for about a month now, I kind of miss her. She was the one that was able to get me the Sonic the Hedgehog Adventure 7 Sonic Generations, a White Space Time Classic Sonic plus Motorbug action figure. You know that costed less than $10? That combined with some DVD plus R's, I think they were, plus a Staples pen, was my Secret Santa gift. That was cool. Jasmine, again, I have to thank you. That made me happy. Still have Classic Sonic staying right there, right up on the old TV. I might take a picture of that later on. I don't have a camera, though. I have a webcam, but I don't have a camera. So, what happened there? What happened to my camera? I've actually never owned a camera. I've always had to borrow other, cameras in order to, like, in order to, like, upload stuff. Literally. In fact, the videos that you see me do in my school, that's only because I was using a Macintosh computer. Literally. Remember that update, video log that I had done not too long ago? When Sonic the Hedgehog 2 Part 5 was coming out, I did, like, a 54-second video. That was from the school. That was while I was in the school using, messing around with Macintosh photo booth. That was cool. And, hey, I think I got all the rings. Roya, you raving klepto. Just don't hit the goal, Sonic. Just don't hit the goal. I don't know why I'm having so much trouble trying to get back in the wheel. There we go, we got this final Chaos Emerald. I actually find it funny how Omochao doesn't say you got the final Chaos Emerald. Or you got them all. The game says that for you. But you know, it's fun. Funny stuff. And I like it. And here's the first level where I get a gold rank. Huzzah! You know, it's funny though. Gold level, gold rank, it's a gold stage. Quoting what's his name from The Outsiders, stay gold. Whatever that means. Gold, I'm figuring means strong, or at least, yeah, I'm figuring that's what that means. I forget. I haven't, like, looked up The Outsiders in a long time. I still have it, like, gaining dust in my garage. Literally, it's in my garage, just gaining dust. Like, I haven't done anything with the book ever since, like, ever since 11th grade, when I saw a rerun of the movie. While I was in school, I was actually watching 3 different movies. It was In the Time of the Butterflies, which was based on the Civil War that was going on in DR during World War II. And let's not forget Chujilo. I know it's pronounced Chihio, but I just don't like pronouncing it that way for many reasons. I don't speak Spanish. That's my explanation for that. I'm sorry all Spanish people that are watching this. I learned Spanish 1 and 2, I just never bothered, really, speaking it fluently. In fact, that's actually the reason why I didn't bother going into Spanish 3, only because I didn't want to, continue with the class. I needed to, have myself open to other classes so I could learn other things. So let's see, there was In the Time of the Butterflies, The Outsiders, and then, in my sophomore year, the 3rd movie that was for MCAS Movie Monday was Pride and Prejudice. I actually don't own the book. I've actually been wanting to get a copy, a hardcover copy, mind the people that have paperback, of Pride and Prejudice. I'm sorry. But I'm sorry for saying A Midsummer Night's Dream when you know what I mean, but yeah. Just did not expect to have those 3 movies. And the 4th movie, which was presented as the 3rd movie for MCAS Movie 2012, is it? Yeah, 2012, was, to my surprise, Disney's Anne Frank, which was based more off of Anne Frank, The Diary of a Young Girl, than the original 1950s play of Anne Frank. The Diary of Anne Frank, not Anne Frank. And honestly, all these movies were touching me. I loved them. I watched them all up to the credits. Yep, I watched the credits through and through. Fun times. Really fun times, you know? I don't know, I just like movies. I like emotional movies. I like documentaries. I like commentaries. In fact, whenever I watch a movie, I'm always going to watch the movie without the commentary first, then I'm going to watch it with the commentary, and then I'm going to watch it while making commentary over it, which is actually a good thing, and holy crap, the Orbinaut's blue. I did not know it until now that the Orbinaut was blue. No, that's a lie. Originally, when I got the Sonic Mega Collection Plus disc, yeah, I grew up with Mega Collection Plus, to my surprise. I never grew up with Mega Collection until, when I got my GameCube in 2008, I remember the date too, it was August 8th of 2008. I still got the receipt at my piggy bank up here. My piggy bank has no money though. Literally, my piggy bank has no money. And there's my gold rank. Sonic Mega Collection was the first game that I decided to buy for the GameCube, although I already had a copy of, what title was it? I already had a copy of Sonic Gems Collection in my possession. And I got that back in 2006, thanks to a special... It was thanks to a special contest. I don't know if it had to do with, a test or whatever, but my science teacher at the time, Miss Boogan, I ended up winning in that, and I think I'd gotten a $25, $30 Amazon.com purchase. So I ended up getting Sonic Gems Collection for the GameCube, and yeah, that was my first ever title that I could ever really play. In fact, I ended up playing that to death because I found a Sonic CD was on it, and I never played Sonic CD until then. I always wanted to play the original Sega CD version of Sonic CD before playing that version, but sadly though, Sega CDs weren't available, Funko Land was down, and I could not get anything. Literally, I couldn't. So I just had to stick with what I could get my hands on. In fact, I might as well talk about the Sonic collection that I have, because I have, like, literally every Sonic game ever made. I now have all the DS titles as of this recording. The only one I don't have is Adventures of Blue Generations, which is for the 3DS, and it's only because I don't own a 3DS. Whenever I get a Nintendo game, especially if I know it's on emulator, like 3DS has emulation by now. There are 3DS emulators out. I play the games on the emulator. I don't try to be authentic as most people are, only because I know that you cannot record stuff from a DS on a TV without the proper utilities, and just to find those utilities is pretty hard. But I digress. In terms of Sonic titles, I have every one of the Genesis Sonic titles. I have Sonic CD as of this point for Sega CD and Mega CD. Sadly, though, there's no music because the disc is crap. Literally, the disc is crap. And funny enough, you want to know what's up with the original Sonic CD on Sega CD? If you, back in 2008, while I was building up my Amazon wishlist for games I wanted to get in the future, I ended up finding out that Sonic CD was like $62.80. $62.80 just to get a Sonic title. Can you believe that? That is insanity. Luckily nowadays I can find copies of it for $5.30, but good God. You can possibly imagine how that was when I was a kid. Hard times. Really hard times. No, literally, they were hard times. And I didn't appreciate all of it. I don't own any of the Saturn titles, to my surprise. Yeah, I don't have any Saturn titles. I don't have any Dreamcast titles, even though I did try to test out Sonic Adventure 1 and 2 on emulator. It didn't go out as I expected it to, but they work. I cannot, however, function Dreamcast titles on the computer I have. I have an E-Machines computer from... Like, it has basically everything that was made for Windows 7 in 2009. I don't have, like, all the updated stuff, which is why I'm actually bothering on getting, like, a new gateway computer that has, like, 2 terabytes with Intel Core i7 or Intel Xeon. Or, as I like to call it, Intel Xeon. So yeah, I don't have any of the, Dreamcast titles, I don't have any of the Saturn titles. I do, in fact, have 3D Blast on emulator, though, like, 3D Blast Saturn emulated. But I don't use Yabayuse right now, so I don't know about that. I have all the files I need for Yabayuse, I'm just, like, too lazy to bother playing Sega Saturn titles. I don't know what it is, like, I might need to buy a Sega Saturn console, but then again, trying to get all the Sega Saturn discs is gonna be a problem. So that's another reason why I bother using Royameadow for all this stuff. No, literally, that's what I use Royameadow to get all the games I have now. I've got all the Master System games, I've got all the Game Gear games, thanks to the Gems Collection, Mega Collection Plus, and Sonic Adventure DX. However, they play best on Gems Collection and Mega Collection Plus for many reasons. I am actually baffled that Mega Collection Plus was never released again for GameCube, so to my surprise. But I do have Sonic Adventure, at least in its Director's Cut format and on the PlayStation 3. I do have Sonic Adventure 2 GameCube version. I will be getting the Sonic Adventure 2 re-release that's coming out on October 3. I don't know about, let's see. I have 2 versions of Heroes, and I wanted to do that for comparison reasons. Because I didn't know that the GameCube version of Sonic Heroes had different quality, but I learned that the hard way. So yeah, I have Sonic Heroes GameCube, Heroes PlayStation 2, 2 copies of Mega Collection Plus, the GameCube version of Gems Collection, as I already mentioned. Shadow the Hedgehog GameCube, Sonic Riders GameCube, Riders 2 Zero Gravity for PlayStation 2, Sonic Unleashed Original for PlayStation 2. God, I got a lot of PlayStation 2 titles. Sonic the Hedgehog 2006, which I like to call Adventure 4 Several Wills. Sonic Adventure 5 Planetary Pieces, or Sonic Unleashed The World Adventure, Director's Cut for PlayStation 3 and 360. Not for PlayStation, not for 360, I have it just for PlayStation 3. And the only reason why I used to call it a Director's Cut, and, yeah, the reason why I used to call it a Director's Cut was because I found it to be, like, the long version of the original game, with much more footage, much more gaming, you know. Of course, Dustin Wyatt, aka Sonic Tweaker, he actually did correct me on that, yeah, he corrected me on that. It was, I forget exactly what year it was like many years back, probably like 2006 or, not 2006 or so, like maybe like 2009, sometime after the game came out. He said, like, just refer to the game as is. Don't, like, call it Director's Cut unless if it's, like, the original game plus the DLC plus the stages from the original PlayStation 2 and Wii version. If it's more like that, then you could consider it a Director's Cut. But if it's not like that, then don't consider it that at all. And hey, that's understandable. Thank you, Tweaker, for that. I hope you're doing well wherever you are. But I digress. Other titles I don't have Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing to my surprise. I don't know why I don't. I don't have Sega Superstars Tennis. I have Wacky Worlds. I don't have Tails Music Composer or whatever the duck that game is that Clement had in his Goodbye Classic Sonic video. I don't even know what title that is, so anybody who knows what that title is that I'm talking about, mention it down in the comments. Other titles I have, Sonic's Ultimate Genesis Collection, Sonic Generations of White Space Time, aka Sonic Adventure 7 as I like to call it. I have both of the Rush titles thanks to the good NDS pack. I've got Sonic Colors DS, or Adventure 6 for Sonic Colors. God, I hate that game. I don't have any Wii titles, and that's only because I don't have a Wii. I have a Wii down there, but I don't have a Wii console. Pun. No, that was a bad pun. That was a bad pun. I don't like to make fun of that thing down there. It's a good member of my body. However, the Nintendo Wii, I'm surprised that they're releasing all the good titles nowadays. I might as well mention that, because, yeah, the Nintendo Wii is having some really fun times with the new games that are coming out. I'm surprised they're releasing the better titles now that the system's, like, almost done. Like, after the release of, the Pikmin 2 Wii port, again, the Wii's pretty much dead. Once the Wii U comes out, the Wii will not get any more games, or maybe it will, but the game will be dead. Epic Mickey 2 is the only real game I'm anticipating after all the Wii titles are released, and after that, the system's dead to me. I won't bother playing any more games after the release of Epic Mickey 2. The only games I'm ever going to really play on that are like NSMB Wii, the Sonic Storybook Saga, Sonic the Hedgehog Adventure 6, and maybe the Super Mario All-Stars port, but that's debatable because I don't really want to play that game. I really don't want to play Super Mario All-Stars Wii, and it's only because it doesn't have World. Yeah, I have to keep saying this. And I will mention it again in Super Mario USA Part 1, whenever I decide to do one for Nintendo, because I did that recording before doing this one. I honestly don't play Mario All-Stars unless if it has World in the port. If it doesn't have World, I'm not playing it. That's just a rule. That's just a rule I made. And it's a good rule, too. If it doesn't have the... Excuse me. It's a fishy Quoting Lewis, aka SolarisParadox, well, it would be a pretty fishy collection if it didn't have the only game that was made for the Super Nintendo. And, you know what? That's true. Virtual Console I won't really deal with unless if it has any, like, Wii exclusives, but aside from that, meh. I don't insist on getting Rockman 9 and 10, because I already have those games for PlayStation 3, and they play better on the PlayStation 3 anyway. And aside from that, what else? Oh yeah, and all the Game Boy Advance titles, I have all of them. I've even got Sonic Battle, that dreaded title. I think that's what killed the series. But whatever. So that's my Sonic collection. I have all the Genesis games, all the Game Gear titles, all GBA, NDS, most of the PlayStation 3 titles, some of the PlayStation 2 titles, all the GameCube titles, and I'm just missing a few from here and there. I don't have Dreamcast, I'm missing a few Saturn titles. I have Sonic Extreme. I do in fact have Sonic Extreme finally. And no, it's not the Sonic Extreme that we have been seeing on the web. Not Sonic Mars, not that original demo, but a crap version that features a more isometric 3D point of view. Not that 2.5D stuff that you see in the Saturn demo stuff. I mean like the legitimate version from a legitimate Yuji Naka based engine. And you know something, I kind of feel sad that Yuji Naka is the reason that game failed. Sonic Extreme would have been a good game. But then again, I do remember somebody posted a video about this some time ago, but what would have happened to Sonic Adventure if we got Extreme? Right? What would have happened? Would Adventure not exist? I'm figuring that Yuji Naka probably had Adventure in store for, like, plans, but then again, I don't know if, like, when Sonic Adventure came out, I remember Sonic Adventure had a completely new team by that point. Naka was no longer a part of the team. So we're gonna have to question, what the duck happened? I mean, I know something happened, and I don't know exactly what happened, but something happened, and I just find that a bit confusing, you know? Again, I have to say this because, like, games like Sonic the Hedgehog 4 got horribly butchered because of Yuji Naka's absence. Quoting myself, basically, if you take out Metal Sonic and put in Yuji Naka, then you have a better game. That title was Sonic the Hedgehog 4. I know that we were gonna get it sooner or later. I just don't like the Sonic the Hedgehog 4 that we got. It's the Mega Man X6 of the classic Sonic the Hedgehog series. If I could say it that way. It's the Mega Man X6 of the Sonic the Hedgehog series. You can ridicule everything you want about planetary pieces, or several wills, in that matter, but no. Sonic the Hedgehog 4 is butchered. And if we had Yuji Naka, I'm sure that he would try to make sense of this. I'm sure that he would try to prevent us from having the complaints that we do about this game. Yuji Naka, please come back to Sega and Sonic Team. They need you. Seriously. You know, I didn't notice until now that I was tangenting over a whole, during the course of a whole bunch of stages, and I'm already in Scrap Brain Zone. Yeah, this game is almost done. We're already a minute and 9.49 seconds. No, we're more than like, because I add that 5-second loading screen at the beginning, I'd say we're at least, yeah, a minute and 10 and, yeah, minute 10:10 at the point of this time, but, you know, Scrap Brain Zone actually is pretty easy. At least Act 1. Act 2 took me bit of time to figure out it. It didn't take me more than 15 minutes, but originally when I was testing out Scrap Brain Zone, Act 2 just beat the living fish out of me. You want to know what it was from? It was from those saw blades. Those saw blades really can... They do a number on you. They do a number on you in these stages. I cannot tell for the life of me why those stages have, like, the oddest kind of difficulty, but they do. And I don't like it one bit. Now, funny enough, what you're supposed to do here is you're supposed to go left and then right. But you have to time yourself just precisely right to assure that not only does Omochao not see you, but Sonic can get that ring. And again, as I've mentioned before, this game has a glitch where if Omochao is a bit too far away from you, or is facing the other direction, he will not recognize that you are either touching an enemy or killing an enemy or anything. He won't recognize that you're doing something, and you'll save your bass a lot of times. And yes, I'm saying bass because I don't like to use the A word. I used to use the term anus to censor the term, but sadly, I just found it a bit odd. So instead, what I decided to do with that was, I just decided to consider it being, oh, yep, there's the glitch again. I just decided, you know what, I might as well make all of my censored swears revolve around, aquatic animals. Why do you think I use fish, duck, bass? You know what these terms are. You know what terms I'm referring to. The only one that, I can't really, make, an aquatic reference to, if I could say it that way, would be like the C word I use as continue, C-O-N-tinue, with the term con capitalized, so you know I'm saying con. Or I could do tinue, sorry. not con dash continue, but continue. And then, the B word I censor using the term snitch. Yes. And it's all thanks to this one song. Oh, you know... Hey, how did it go? Freeze, 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 you know who it is. It's me, Snitches. And you know what, the funny thing is, during that song, you actually get to hear the Joust charge-up sound effect. Like whenever player 2 dies in Joust, there's a specific sound effect that was used in the song The Snitches. And in that song, that sound effect lasts for about, I'd say, 4 seconds, 5 seconds, I cannot remember for the life of me at the moment. But, yeah, that one sound effect, I always loved that when I was a kid. Whenever I played, like, Midway Arcade Treasures, I would always just open up Joust and, like, have the unlimited lives gimmick enabled, and just have, like, player 2 just keep dying. Just so I could hear that sound effect again and 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 again. You know, one day I might play Joust. I don't know, like, I know Midway, allows people to, yeah. I mean, if we were able to record, Mortal Kombat games, then I figured that Midway wouldn't mind us recording arcade games. I know for a fact that there are certain game companies that don't like, oh, you know what? They don't like you releasing footage of games that aren't released yet. That's the only time that, game companies will give you trouble. It's sort of like when Jack the Infinite 101 had uploaded the supersonic footage for, what was it? Sonic the Hedgehog Adventure 7 Sonic Generations of White Space Time? And that was from Hacking Demo 1. That game, though, originally, I mean, I knew Supersonic was going to be playable in the game, but I just didn't think it would be with the Hedgehog engine. That actually blew my mind, though. I was actually baffled that the Hedgehog engine screen wasn't available. I know somebody hacked it back in using the PC port, but, again, very confusing. Very, very confusing. Nevertheless, we're in the White Labyrinth. Very easy. All you have to do is just touch 2 buttons and then avoid rings and enemies. Again, I hate this precision platforming. Precision platforming is never good in any Sonic game. I could not, for the life of me, or for the life of you, in that sense, tell you, like, the difficulty that it took me to get this footage. Literally. Also, this one ridiculous jump is coming up right here. You do not know how many times I have to restart the stage. Most annoying thing ever. And, oh hey, we're almost done here. Wait, what am I doing here? Oh, right, showing off my rankings, because, you know, I need to show off how good I did, if you didn't see them already. And I don't know what requirements that it needs for you in order to have, special, like, you'll notice that when I play Final Zone, I don't get a barrier. I don't know what is up with that, but I think I need at least, I think I need 18 perfect ranks in order to do that. I have 2 gold ranks, but then notice, what is that 56 in terms of robotic that I have there? What is that? Well, I don't know what it is, so do not ask me. But yeah, I don't get a barrier, so I have to deal with this. You hit the boss. Avoid some more of those. You hit the boss again. Okay. Also, at this point, I sort of got him into a hold where he's doing, what is it? He's pretty much staying on the right-hand side of the screen the entire time. Like, for at least 6 of these hits, he's gonna be on the right-hand side. I mean, look at this. 6 hits and they're all on the same side. Okay, there might be one instance where he's gonna be on the left, but I know for a fact that, I don't know. I don't know what was up with that. Interesting. Very interesting. I mean, take a look at this. He's gonna just keep being on the right for a short time, and then I'll just, pummel him. Like, you know, I like that in my games, though. When it's almost like this where the code glitch gremlin really comes in handy. Finally, I got it right. That is a major tongue twister. I don't know why it's a tongue twister, but it's a tongue twister for me. I don't know why. It's just tongue twister. No, literally, it's just a tongue twister. It's not hard. It's just complicated. Wait, it may not be complicating. It might just be confusing. Yeah, that's a better term. That's the much better term for this. You know what? Somebody who, like, whoever watches this video, if you know how to mix, please do a one-up theme mix of this. Do a one-up mix of, I mean, what am I trying to say? Do a mix of the Sonic 1 and 2 one-up theme, or do it in the way that this game gives you one-up music. Add a funky beat to it, add some lyrics, and I shall add it to my favorite YouTube soundtracks playlist. That's how worthy your music would be. You know, at this point, I'm pretty much done with the commentary. Because, it's 10:22 and I really have nothing more to say. I mean, again, okay, the boss is finally defeated. But, yeah, I have, I'm really tired at this point. I have no more things to mention. If I did, I'd probably have it in, like, another audio log or video log, but then again, I don't have a camera, so what would be the point? Well, thank God that he's defeated, and there's a reason why I'm not, destroying his ship, because, that would just make my ranking a bit worse, at least for this stage. What would happen is, if I was to do it again, what would pretty much be the case is that, if I hit Robotnik at that point, that 9 would actually be a 10, because Omochao gives you a notification saying that you gave the last hit. Actually, no, you got in the last hit, quote-unquote. And it's very confusing. Nevertheless, folks, I do hope that you enjoyed this 1 hour, 20 minute, and 40-second run of Sonic the Hedgehog Omochao Edition, or Sonic the Omochao Hater. Omochao, you aren't as bad as many people say you are. I'm actually glad that I can say that, because I have finally beaten a game that I said that I hate with a vengeance. And you know something? That is success. That is success. Defeating this game after so long. I deserve a reward. Also, for those that are wondering why I leave the frame counter in all of my Sega commentaries, that's just so you know how I'm doing all these movements. And also, that's to prove that I'm not being authentic with my gaming. Because, you know, I don't like to be authentic with my gaming, because sometimes playing on the console just isn't enough. Sometimes you need to play these games on the keyboard. There are just certain games that don't have a good feel when you play them on the Genesis or the Saturn or the PlayStation 2 or whatever console you're playing. Life just seems to be easier when using the keyboard, because the keyboard's the most easiest thing to use. I mean, heck, how do you think I play my Mario 64 games? With an original Mario 64 cartridge and console? No way! And that's only because the Mario 64 console... If there really is a Mario 64 edition of the N64 console, I would like to see that. I would like to have that for bragging rights, but... the actual N64 controller, I just cannot play that. I'm sorry. I mean, a joystick that's in the middle of the controller, 3 handles, what? They want you to be 3-handed just to play a game? No, I'm not going to play this. I'm not going to play on that controller. The GameCube controller is superior to the N64 controller for all I care. But I love Mario 64. You know, it's funny. It's funny that I bring that up. Well, welcome to Royameadow commentaries, where apparently I talk about Mario in my Sonic games. Fun times, fun times. Nevertheless, you will not see any new commentary videos for a while. I will definitely upload something on the 30th to tell you what's going to be going on later on, but yeah, this really it does end my month of Sega. So to finish up, I might as well say to the folks, happy birthday, Sonic the Hedgehog. I hope that your gaming gets better, seeing that we're rebooting the entire series again. And there's also somebody that I had forgotten to say a birthday wish to. Her name's Melissa. She's cool peoples. So you know what? Just to surprise her right now, I'm going to send her a birthday wish. Anywho, month of Sega is finally done. Roya out. I shall see you on June 30th for whatever update I'm going to be doing. Or it might be up on the 29th. Regarding that, I have my month of Nintendo footage ready. Regarding that. Anywho, toodles.